Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Right Time, a Wave original. My name is Bomani Jones. Thanks for listening wherever you get your podcast. Thanks for watching us on YouTube. Subscribe, like, rate us, review us, give us 5 stars. You only give us 4 stars. I'm inclined to believe you are a hater. I got some kind of sort of combine thoughts. I usually don't do that, but you got to meet the people where they at. You know what I'm saying? Got some of that, weirdo stories at the end of the show. But all right, I got to tell you something. And I've talked about this just about every year. I don't have much of a problem admitting this, that we get so overrun by football from September to February that, like, I dip my toe into the NBA before football season's over. And then now is the time to, like, really, really, really get in there. Like, every now and then you get to watching the game. And, Ryan, I don't know if this happens to you, but it's more and more because I don't follow college basketball like I used to.
Right.
Boy, you can sneak a motherfucker in there I ain't never heard of, real smooth. Minnesota got some African dude that's new, but he seems to be very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like this is that time of year, especially if you used to play for a handful of teams. For example, that Gafford dude that the Mavericks got that year they went to the finals. I had never heard of him, and I could not understand how that was possible. And then they told me that he played for the Wizards.
That'll do it.
Witness protection.
Especially this year when it's almost 2/3 of the league.
Yeah.
Who are just, not
trying.
Yeah.
There's a lot of teams that I don't need to check. Like Sacramento, that's also witness protection, where you can go over there, except for that one year, right? You go over Sacramento, like I get to play in the Immaculate Grid, man. I don't know what to do. They fuck around and put Sacramento in Orlando, and it's like, damn, this could be I gotta really start working my way through some old 3-way trades. But anyway, now's the time to really get this going with the NBA. Like, you see more of the Knicks because we live here and stuff like that. And I also watched the Knicks play against the Spurs. They put the hurt on them.
Oh, yeah.
I was a little surprised. Now, granted, I do think the Knicks and the Lakers both have this one. And I guess the Clippers too. But they mess around and play a team in that early Sunday slot or whatever early is for local. Y'all should win.
Right.
Right?
People had fun.
Yeah, right. It's the Spurs one time pulling up. If y'all get to play them on Sunday, y'all should win, right? But no, good. I mean, Karl Towns played well. Like, it was a strong game. But I also watched 3 other games this weekend. I watched Detroit, Cleveland. I watched Oklahoma City and the Nuggets, and then I watched the Nuggets again against Minnesota. Nuggets, not a great weekend. I feel like they need to be glad that Mike Malone is doing TV and not being the coach, because I bet he would be miserable to be around after the weekend that they had. But I mentioned those games because those games were good, right? And they were good for, I'd say, an interesting range of reasons. Detroit and Cleveland was the sort of game that I ordinarily would have wanted to watch and then found out that Donovan Mitchell was not playing. I think James Harden was also out of that game. I would find out that those 2 guys were not playing in that game, and then I would not watch that game anymore, right? I don't know. Like, Ryan, I feel like it was a good game, but I don't know if the way I'm putting this is going to make this seem. But, the Pistons didn't quite bring it as they should have, right? And that's there we go, okay? But at the same time, that was Jared Allen, Evan Mobley. Okay, those are NBA players. Dennis Schroeder, Sam Merrill, and Jalen Tyson. And a dude named Naquan was the first man off the bench. A series of gentlemen that I'm not very familiar with came off the bench.
For sure.
And it was a game, right? Like it was an intense, look, Detroit, they're back, right? The city is clearly back into it. I realize this, especially since it's been a while since they moved out to Palace, but I ain't had a whole lot of watch the Pistons since they left the Palace situations, right? It still feels weird when I watch a game there.
It's been a long 15 years.
Yeah, it has been. It has been. Like last year, we got in and checked them out a little bit. But honestly, it was a really, really good game, even with Cunningham fouling out late, everything else. I know Jared Allen also fouled out in that one, but it was an intense, really hard play game, followed by Oklahoma City and Denver. And that one was serious, right? Everybody was there for 2 best players in the NBA playing in that game, right? Chet's back playing in that game went hard. Lou Dort had a moment in that game that seems to happen somewhat often with these cats in the NBA, where somehow they forget that Jokic is real big.
big and scary and intense.
Yeah. He's you know what Jokic got? Jokic got a lot of I ain't no sucker in him, right? Because he's kind of a hey, just run up and down the floor, play basketball, be excellent, right? But every now and then he need to remind you that like you don't want these problems. Lou Dort, you know, like what the thing Lou Dort did wasn't like the biggest cheap shot we've ever seen, right? But once Jokic ran up on him, I mean, for you to be Lou Dort, baby, you can't. You got to either be full troll, or if you're gonna play the way he plays, you got to be ready to fight too, right? Like you got
to be full Patrick Beverly.
You got to be but he at his size, he got to be a defenseman, right?
Yeah,
a big football playing joker. Like that's what it's got to be. Jokic ran up on him, and he was like, "Ooh, I did
no thanks.
Properly do the math on this situation." Then we had this Minnesota Denver game, which I'd say wasn't a great game in terms of the margin. Jokic played a really good game. Not enough dudes showed up, but Minnesota dude, Anthony Edwards, the legend killer. I don't know what Minnesota's going to do in the playoffs. I would not want to play Minnesota in the playoffs because I've watched the playoffs for the last 2 years, right? Like Minnesota is such a weird team in the sense that they have been to the Western Conference Finals 2 years in a row, and not a single one of us is looking at them like, don't you think it's time to take the next step? Which is typically how we view it if you make it to the Western Conference Finals 2 years in a row. That is, I guess, a byproduct of this era of parity. Me and Goff talked about this last week. I grew up with Dynasty Sagas. I kind of prefer Dynasty Sagas. But we got a Western Conference where I don't know if there are 6 teams that can win. In fact, I know there are not 6 teams that can win the West because Houston cannot. But there are, I'd say 5 teams that I think could make it to the conference finals, and I'm again removing Houston from this, and it's the structural point guard issue. I just don't think that roster can pull that off.
Do you count the Lakers in those 5?
Hell no.
Okay, who were the 5?
Oh, so I mean 4.
Okay,
sorry, got my count wrong.
Yeah,
and I know that I got my count wrong by you being like, wait a minute, are you talking about the Lakers?
Yeah.
No, I am talking about Minnesota, Denver, San Antonio, and Oklahoma City.
Right.
I forgot it. Houston is the 5 in that one.
Yeah.
I can see any of those 4 going, right? And we just talked about games, but basically just with 3 of them. Here's why I bring up those games and why I want to talk about this off the top. And Ryan, I'm curious what you think about this. I talked about last week, I think on this Monday show, was just the idea that the NBA regular season, I don't know what it takes. I don't know what has to happen in the regular season in the NBA to break through to like really matter. The Spurs were just on a 12-game winning streak. And I knew that because you told me.
Right.
I did not realize that. Now, of course, they are no longer on a 12-game winning streak, but that should be the big. There's nothing else going on. Right? Like Victor Wembanyama is living up to the hype and expectation that was there. They are 2 games out of first in the West. I do think it's going to matter. Like those seedings are actually going to matter.
With the tiebreaker against Oklahoma City already.
Right. Like we got. If this were baseball back in the days, we call it a pennant race. Like we have a very interesting race in the West, and we saw it bear out, like I say, in the way that some of these games look. Like Minnesota came in, they were playing to win that game.
Right.
Like Denver nobody was just out here like, 1 of 82, right? No. They was out there to win that game. That Detroit-Cleveland game on Friday night, they was out to win that one. We have a very interesting thing going on in the East where, and I think it's kind of similar in the West. I would pick San Antonio to win the West, except the small problem is they've never won anything. This particular group of people in San Antonio, just to be clear. They've never won anything. The same thing with Detroit. The only reason to not pick them is that they have not done this before. And by this, we mean win a series in the first round. Or in the case of San Antonio, go. Like actually play in the playoffs, right? Even with losing to the Knicks. Dude, the no-fly zone that happens. I mean, I watched Victor guard the ball, the pass, and the weak side on the same, like, right at the same time. Oh, like what it doesn't even seem real. It looks like he's playing against 3-year-olds, right? Like, all right, everybody against dad, right? Like it doesn't even seem possible. But I talked about the regular season and the idea the regular season doesn't matter or is treated like it doesn't matter. I think it's very important for me to make a distinction because it's easy to lose sight of this, particularly when talking about the NBA, because people have a predisposition to think about the worst. The regular season seems to clearly matter to those guys. Okay? Now, there are some teams that have clearly mailed it in on this season. And I have a problem with the fact that they have mailed it in on the season. And a big part of why I have a problem with the fact that they mailed it in on the season is that they still charge people money for the tickets, right? Like, you're still a chunk of the cable bill. You're selling us this. Being a fan of basketball is not just simply about the positioning of your team for down the line and championship and everything else. No, I want to enjoy some games, right? Like, these games are right here. There are teams that have absolutely given up on that, and I have a giant problem with it, okay? But there are also situations where we got a problem with the load management and everything else, and this has been sold as a superstar league, but I watched that Cleveland team without their two best players, and it was a game. It was a game worth watching. It was an entertaining game. We got a lot of teams left with a lot to play for, and if we're being perfectly honest, them teams that are not giving it they all, you wasn't watching them anyway. Like, it is an affront to the local fans for what they're doing. But if you're talking about it as a, like, overhead, like a 3,000-foot view, whatever that phrase is, looking down on the league, you wouldn't go watch them anyway. But the teams that you gonna watch, oh, there's so much to watch right now, right? I think I lost track of my thought earlier, but I didn't even get to bring it up. The fact that Jason Tatum apparently is going to try to come back and play.
In the next 2 weeks.
That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard, right? I mean, I can only assume that it's medically cleared, right?
Yeah,
like,
it has to be.
I can't.
By his doctors and the teams.
Yeah. It's the only way. I can't assume that anybody, look, Derrick Rose would not have been playing this season, right? You understand what I'm saying? Like, and by the way, wouldn't be hearing nothing from me about that.
Of course.
Also, the Bulls would have been leaking. He actually could have played 2.5 months ago. If that would have come down. But do you realize how crazy that is? First of all, the fact that the Celtics have been as good as they have been, that Jaylen Brown, who could not dribble with his left hand not too long ago,
is in the top 5 of MVP conversations.
I mean, he has an argument for being the MVP,
right?
If you wanted to make it, right? Hey, man. It matters. These cats are out here, right? There's a lot of discussion about that 65-game rule. And look, if you don't play 65 games, history has said you're not the MVP.
Right? Once.
Yeah. Well, it was the Bill Walton.
Yes.
It was the year Bill Walton got hurt. That's basically the only one out of a full 82-game season. I think there's been like one more or something like that. But typically, that was always a disqualifying factor. The reason they put that rule in was not about the MVP. They put that rule in so that cats who were trying to make all NBA and thereby maybe get their Supermax on would not be out here mailing in games. That's what they were going for. But the MVP, this has always been a self-regulating sort of situation. And the guys that are playing games, Cade Cunningham's playing those games, Jaylen Brown playing those games. Those are the guys that I think we should be talking about for MVP. If Shai Gilgeous-Alexander gets up around that total of games, then yeah, we'll talk about it. Jokic missed how much time? You don't win the MVP when you do that. You just don't. That has nothing
There's
to do with...
only one person who can win it.
Right.
Only one person who can be the best.
That's correct. By the way, that has nothing to do with what I was just talking about.
Yeah.
But I did realize I wanted to talk about that and make that point, so the point's been made. The point that I'm here to make is the regular season of basketball can matter as much as we want it to matter. Because there is basketball that matters that's on right now. And guess what? We got another month and change of the regular season, right? Like, this is about to be a run to the end in the West. Who you wind up playing is so important. I think everybody would like to get themselves positioned against Houston. They're teams that don't want to play each other. The teams are close enough such that the idea of having home court is something. Like, Minnesota beat them under these circumstances 2 years ago, but I personally would not want to play a Game 7 in Denver. If Oklahoma City were not playing Denver Game 7 in their house, do they win that one last year? I don't think they do.
With Aaron Gordon hopping around on one leg.
Right, and that still is the thing with Denver, right, is if Aaron Gordon winds up coming back. But San Antonio, with a team that young, where they play these games, all of this stuff is going to matter. It's about to be on fire to the finish. The Knicks, because all the pressure around them still remains. And they're a soap opera over there, Ryan. Like, I don't think people quite pick up on the fact that the guys don't seem to like to coach that much. They fired the coach that got them to the conference finals, which means going to the NBA finals is kind of sort of the expectation. Like, we got 3 really interesting teams
right
in the East. We've got 4 really interesting teams in the West. It's a thing going on, guys. It is. And I will be very curious to see if all of us around this are going to treat this like it's a thing, because this could be a whole hell of a lot of fun before the season's over. And then after that, we get 2 months of playoff basketball, where the conference semifinals this year are going to feel like, my buddy Nick always makes the point that the best weekend of the season in the NFL, and he's right, is the division round. That is the best one. That is what the conference semifinals are going to feel like this year. Like, we're going to have 2 games a night of great basketball. I cannot wait. Let us get our minds in that. Like, we passed All-Star. We passed that little, withdrawal time we have from after football. So nothing's good enough for us. So we just shit on the league. Now we take a week and you look around and be like, oh no, baby, it is popping. And after all that, Ryan, we just gonna talk about hypothetical football.
Yep.
That's just it's the combine.
It's March.
Yeah, it's the combine. Do you think Mark Sanchez came to the combine?
I think he is going to be avoiding Indianapolis and all of its.
He can only avoid it, but so much. I'm sure he got some court dates.
Yeah, I think he's going to be just in that courtroom.
How crazy would it be if Mark Sanchez had a court date during the combine? And he's just like on his flight or at the airport or waiting that baggage claim. And everybody's like, oh, surprised to see you here. You got a court date or something? And he's like, yeah, I do, actually.
It's funny you mentioned that, because I think some other information about this dropped. It turns out Mark Sanchez, and this isn't exactly news, accusing Sanchez of being under the influence of cocaine, fentanyl, marijuana, and alcohol under the time of the altercation.
That's right. However, what not included on the list, not even in others receiving votes, was that dust. I was still and let me tell you that what you just read off, that list of things that they say Mark Sanchez was on, and it made him act like he was on that dust. That is one hell of a commercial for that dust. I think
it's a bit of a warning label for that dust.
Well, also 2 things could be true at one time. But he had like a Long Island iced tea of dope. Just everything you got, just throw it in and shake it up.
You're not supposed to hit Yahtzee with vices.
Yeah. You shake it all up, then put a little bit of Coke on top, and there you go. Like that was, whoo, man. He's got to go to jail for that. Okay, sorry. That wasn't what we was talking about. The combine, I don't think nothing greedier than the NFL turning the combine into like a thing that people watch on TV.
Right.
Like, I do believe that once you really start, like, okay, you get a clip of somebody doing a vert or running the 40 or whatever it is. Okay, that's fine. But you be like watching, and you don't work in the biz. You just sit up there and you watching. I mean, that's a little weird.
Right.
That's all I'm saying. Like, that's a little that's like, you know how it is? It's weird how it's illegal for you to be at the playground if you ain't got no kids. Like, this isn't exactly that, obviously, but it ain't exactly not that, right? But anyway, one of the interesting elements of the combine is everybody be up there, right? Like, I can only be convinced.
You just compared NFL, super NFL fans to sex offenders.
No, I compared them to the people who sit by the playground, who are not necessarily sex offenders, but acknowledged to be weirdos.
Fair enough.
There we go. So anyway, the combine, Which I'm convinced, your greatest testament that the league is full of dudes who just don't feel like hanging out with their wives. Like
let's all go to Indianapolis in the end of February.
The season just ended, right? Like it's not like it's been all summer long or something like that.
The Super Bowl was 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, they were all there too.
Yeah, they were all there. We just had a big industry party for a week.
In a much better location.
And so now it's been 3 weeks. We haven't been able to work for 50 hours a week. Let's all go to St. Elmo's in Indianapolis.
But you know what I think part of it is, though? I do think that part of it is that for the combine, the tier 2 people, the people that do not get the Super Bowl plug,
right.
This is their party.
This is their VIP event.
This is Old Navy Super Bowl.
Got it.
Of the Super Bowl hierarchy, right? But anyway, they're there.
Seeing a lot of Men's Warehouse at these events.
There we go, right? And that's where everybody gets together and they get to talking and like the groundwork for the personnel moves down the line start happening. And Ryan sent me something, and granted, it's from an aggregator account, but it's still worthwhile. And it makes this point. I'm going to read it. What was it? Ari Merlov. If that's a person, I have no idea. Anyway, this. There is a potential scenario this offseason where up to 5 veteran quarterbacks with guaranteed money already in 2026 could be released, and as a result, their next contract with the new team could be for the minimum. Tua Tagovailoa, $54 million guaranteed. Kyler Murray, $36.8 million guaranteed. Geno Smith, $18.5 million guaranteed. Kirk Cousins, $10 million guaranteed. Justin Fields, $10 million guaranteed. Okay, I have 2 thoughts on this. Number one, apparently nobody in the NFL has ever heard the song "It's Cheaper to Keep Her." Now, I know Tua would be offended if he heard that I was calling him a her. But it's a metaphor, young man, okay? The whole point of these guarantees and the way they do this is we gonna work this out, right? Like there's some security in the idea this didn't work. Go, okay, all right, well, look, we kind of stuck with each other. We gonna have to work this out. We can't afford to quit this. We gonna work this out. I don't care what we've been saying about Tua and everything else. We are paying him 54. We already got quarterback in the refrigerator. We're not going out to eat when we got food that's been paid, not a little bit, by the way, right? Like we have steak at the house. There is a porterhouse that I have taken out of the freezer. Like, that's your quarterback, right?
Doesn't look like it.
I mean, okay. That's all I got. You're not really trying to win. You can't be. You got $54 million cap hold on. Okay.
I think Tua's combined dead money cap number is $99 million.
Yeah. Like, come on, man. What are we talking about here? Right? Like, if you see a quarterback worth drafting, go ahead and do it. But your options are, and you tell me if I'm wrong here, Tua Tagovailoa, Malik Willis, or another quarterback whose previous team felt the same way about them as you feel about the one that you're about to get rid of. I don't know, man. That sounds like Tua to me. It could be, right? Kyler Murray, $37 million guaranteed. I'm just going to throw this out here, okay? I've looked at the stats. When did Kyler Murray become terrible? Because I don't really see that.
Like, he's had a few very good years.
Yeah.
He tore the ACL a few years ago.
Yeah.
And last year he just had this mysterious mystery injury.
Yes. And they decided they didn't want to play him anymore.
Correct.
Look, man, we have seen evidence of this. And lots of us have been told this. His soft skills are poor.
Clearly.
What I mean by that, for those who don't understand, is people don't like him. Okay? He comported himself in such a way that the team felt like they had to put a video game clause in his contract, basically. Okay? I still think the team was wrong for that, and they set themselves up for unnecessary scrutiny because ultimately you were still going to sign him, so it didn't really matter. But the truth is, it did happen. and they didn't just pull that out of the air, and his side didn't feel like they could get it out of the deal.
Right.
Okay. He does not play well with others. But I'm looking at him on a list with like Kirk Cousins, who got one leg and is 38, 9 years old.
And is just as likely to be in a booth next year as QB.
Which it looks like he'll be pretty good at.
Yes, better than he is at QBing.
Yeah, and Justin Fields, and we all thought it would go different.
Right.
It just hasn't.
It did not.
Like, they're gonna go there. Geno Smith, I don't really know what to do with because he was on a terrible team and just felt like it was YOLO time. Whatever, any little blip I saw him on the red zone channel, it was him just saying "fuck it."
The combo of Pete Carroll, Chip Kelly, and Pete Carroll's son as the offensive line coach, seemed to have really broken Geno.
Yeah, it was bad news. But I mean, I'm looking. But all of this combined, all these guys we're looking at, to me, Kyler Murray is like a different player than any of these guys that we talked about here. Like if you're Minnesota and the Steelers, in fact, that's what they need to do up there. And is sausage party now an inappropriate term?
I think you get one.
Okay, so last week sausage party was my limit on.
I was saying the one party. 30 seconds ago was your one. But
wow, I didn't know I had already done it. Okay. Anyway. If you ever
We're all friends here.
Yeah, but if you ever been to a sausage party, the kind of thing you never know when an impromptu wrestling match might break out, right? Just like two dudes who decide, hey, it's just a bunch of dudes around here who wants to wrestle, right? Like in a dorm or something like that. You know what I mean? Like that.
Is that a two America situation or a one America situation?
No. I think it's a one America situation. Like, I don't mean, in this case, I don't mean like it's a sausage party. Like, you get there and the ladies ain't showed up yet, right? Where it's supposed to be ladies free before 11, but apparently nobody told them. And then you just look around but the ratio was all off. I don't mean that kind. I mean this more like it's a bunch of dudes in a dorm or at a sleepaway camp or something like that.
Or Vegas for the first weekend of the NCAA tournament.
Yeah. And so invariably some roughhousing comes up when you have this sort of thing happen. Anyway, I bring that up to say, I don't know who the new general manager is in Minnesota, but whoever it is, shouldn't him and Omar Khan have to like wrestle at some bar and the winner gets Kyler Murray?
That would be more interesting to watch than the actual combine.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, let's be clear. I had to watch that.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
GM fights? Yeah, for sure.
If you're telling me that you just watched the combine in case a GM fight breaks out, hey, okay, I see you. But no, like if you're one of these teams that needs a quarterback, that would be, and you're telling me he's available? Like I'm looking at Arizona, like what are you gonna do? Are they gonna bring Brissett back again?
I mean, Brissett drafting someone, they seem to be
who they gonna draft? Well, I don't even know if we got one quarterback in this draft.
This is my favorite part of the combine too, is people convincing themselves they like mediocre quarterbacks.
Oh yeah.
We're there.
He did a great job throwing against the Ghost Man. Like, you ain't see the Ghost Man. The Ghost Man had his hand right there, and he just dropped it right over the Ghost Man, and he made the catch. No, like, I'm looking at every scenario here, and it blows my mind that we're talking about Kyler Murray. Like, he has been put in maybe he could have a Sam Darnold-like resurrection. Kyler Murray should come find you, stand on a phone book, and slap you in the face for saying that. Like, he's in a completely, he has never been where Sam Darnold was.
Not even close.
Not even close. But I feel like that's the way we talk about him. The talent is still there. He's 28. He'll only be like Speedy Gonzalez fast, a road runner but for so long, right? Like we recognize that. And of course, there's the size part. I'm not saying there are no negatives. And for Minnesota, I understand the real issue is y'all got to have at least one quarterback somebody likes. Like, can you imagine what it would be like to be Kevin O'Connell, who clearly can't stand J.J. McCarthy?
And he's clearly not the only one.
Right. But then you also give him Kyler Murray?
Look, if you're the quarterback, whisper,
Yeah. I mean,
figure it out.
Let me ask you this. Well, it's more rhetorical, but for anybody, I would assume right now that people think that Sam Darnold is a better quarterback than Kyler Murray. By how much and why exactly? You know what I mean? Like 2 years ago, you wouldn't have dreamed of saying that. I just don't see this Kyler Murray has fallen off completely thing.
Would you rather have Kyler Murray or Baker Mayfield?
Ooh, that is interesting because they're both starting quarterbacks.
Would you rather have Kyler Murray or Bryce Young?
Kyler Murray, not even close.
Would you rather have Kyler Murray or Jalen Hurts?
I would rather have Kyler Murray.
Would you rather have Kyler Murray or Brock Purdy?
Ooh, okay. I would rather have Kyler Murray, but I can't confidently say he's better than Brock Purdy. And that's because this Brock, even if I can acknowledge he's better than I ever thought he would be, that'll mean I want him.
Would you rather have Kyler Murray or Bo Nix?
Kyler Murray. You know what? I think the way to play this game is where it gets fun is if we plugged Kyler Murray into some of those situations that we're talking about. For example, if Kyler Murray were the quarterback of the Seattle Seahawks, how much different do you think the results would be? If Kyler Murray were the quarterback of the Denver Broncos, how much different would the results be?
I think if Kyler Murray were the quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles, we'd have a happy A.J. Brown.
Brother, I think that you and I have been working together a little too long because I was about to say the exact. Oh, no. I love the fact that you had it. I was going to say the exact same thing. That I bet you AJ Brown wishes Kyler Murray was the quarterback of the Eagles.
Yeah.
I bet he badly wishes that was the case. Ooh, what do we do with C.J. Stroud? I was just about to.
C.J. Stroud's a hard one.
The Kyler Murray game is fun. Now that we're here playing it, this is a good time.
Do you think they'd have a similar situation? Do you think they'd be just as good if you flip-flopped Dak Prescott and Kyler Murray?
No, I think Dak Prescott is better than him. I think that Dak Prescott is better. Better than
I do too. I think that is like my exact. Like once you get past like 12,
anything's possible.
Anything's possible.
Yeah, and this is if he's available, I think the league is going to jump on. I think all we've been talking is about to whittle away and go away because if you're telling me that if I don't get Kyler Murray, I gotta go get Tua. Or 35-year-old Geno, if he's 35.
Or the corpse of Aaron Rodgers.
Or $30 million a year to Malik Willis. And by the way, somebody's going to do it, and I think there's a good chance it could work out. We are far removed from watching Malik Willis be abject.
For sure.
We are way past that. I would not want it to be my $30 million, but I will be happy for when he receives it. Ever wanted to go to the NBA Finals? Well, now's your chance, courtesy of FanDuel. All you have to do is use your profit boost on an NBA future, and you'll be entered for a shot to win an NBA Finals trip for two. NBA futures let you lock in your pick for who you think will go all the way, whether it's a team to win the championship or a conference title. Visit FanDuel.com/Bomani to get started. Play your game with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA.
21 plus and present in select states for Kansas in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 plus and present in D.C., Kansas, Wyoming. Opt-in requirement. Awards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expiration, leg requirements, and max wager amount. See terms at sportsduel.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York.
It's the biggest time of year for college basketball. Great moments, fierce rivalries, and incredible high-stakes action. Teams face off against each other, and along the way, there are surprises, comebacks, and upsets. It's anyone's game. Well, regardless of who makes it to the final round, one thing's for certain. It takes the most talented people to build these incredible teams. The same goes when you're hiring. If you want your business to be at the top of its game, you need the best people on your team. The place to find them? ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/Bomani. ZipRecruiter's smart matching technology immediately finds qualified candidates that check all your boxes. ZipRecruiter recommends screening questions you can easily add to get the highest quality applicants. Want to see who's recently active? ZipRecruiter's filters can show you. Score the best for your team with ZipRecruiter. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/Bomani. That's ZipRecruiter.com/Bomani. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
We know you can't be on top of all the news and information of the day. No need for the social media feeds. We got you. Now, if you haven't heard.
All right, if you haven't heard, there's a war. U.S. has bombed Iran, and people started betting on it. On Pod Market, at least $200 million was staked on 4 wagers relating to the U.S. stakes in Iran. Kalshi had to put out this tweet. The odds that the Ayatollah is out at the Supreme Wager has surged to 68%. Reminder, Kalshi does not offer markets that settle on death. Bo, what was your reaction to this?
Hey, man, there is somebody who works there that's like, I can't keep doing this. Right? Imagine you being the person at the meeting where they're talking about all of these things that are happening.
Or you have to rate your person who raised your hand. So what's our rule if he dies?
Yeah. So how exactly? I can't believe this is life, right? Like this sounds like parody or satire in that way.
Right.
I will say this. I don't feel like getting into the real nitty-gritty of the war. And I guess if does it even count as war, I don't know what all was. I don't know where to go. Okay.
I think people in Congress are going to be debating this next coming week.
So I'm going to make 2 points, or just 2 observations that I have that we could all deal with right now. Number 1, I remember the first Ayatollah. First Ayatollah, for those of you who are too young, was a really big deal. Like whenever it was that it was time, like back in the day, we talked about dictators a lot more. You know what I mean? But he was a tier 1 bad person. We talked about him all the time. And then he died. And I don't know why, but the next Ayatollah, we never really bring him up very much. In spite of the fact that apparently he's so evil that you got to smoke his ass and all his partners right where they stand. You know what I'm saying? Are you
saying we used to be a proper country because we knew who our dictators were?
No, I'm trying to figure out how it is that this Ayatollah never caught on.
It's like the new Kim Jong doesn't really catch on like that.
Yeah, no, but that's what I'm saying. We've known all the Kims, right? All as that has gone on. But with this right here, I'm just very surprised that it's been the same one for 37 years. And people don't know his name or nothing like that.
I didn't even try to attempt to pronounce it.
Yeah, it had just been Iran. We never got to the particulars of it. I just personally don't understand how that happened or why. Number 2, I cannot imagine that I finally, if you were the type of person who would want to do this, and I'm not, you finally stacked up your bread, you got on that plane, and you took your vacation to Dubai, and your hotel is getting bombed.
You saw private flights are going for 6 figures out of there, $325,000.
Right, like it's one thing to go somewhere and get it's hurricane season, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh damn, they are bombing Dubai, the airport. They're like, nah, man, y'all, you can't be serious right now. No. But they are. This is what happened. I can't think of anything where one thing happened and then the other team was like, All right, everybody getting it.
Yeah.
Anybody that's staying with you, that's close to us, they gonna get it. And this is only been a couple of days. It is only been. I think that was the other part. Oh, but Trump is like, hey man, so here's what we gonna do. We gonna bomb them, and then y'all can go take over your country, which on paper may not sound like the worst idea. In application, the probability of chaos is very, very high.
If we've learned anything for the last 60 years, it's a little bit harder on paper than it is in real life than it is on paper.
Particularly there.
Yes.
And that's 70 years almost. But yes, particularly there. Have you seen Argo?
Yes.
Argo made me rethink something. By the way, I watched Argo on a plane, and that was a shockingly emotional experience. Altitude does that, right?
Yeah.
But when they was trying to get through the airport at the end, I've never been more on edge in my life. But that scene made me think about something that nobody talks about when it comes to overthrowing the government. Everybody want to overthrow the government so they can like do all the top line stuff. But once you overthrow the government, you are also responsible for the government. And so in
the
Argo,
bureaucracy of the government.
Yeah. So in Argo, it was watching who the dudes were that are looking at passports. They're just dudes in camouflage with guns. They didn't get into this to be looking at your fucking passport. Nobody wants to do that. Right? And so they're like, hey, we're going to overthrow the government. Okay, then you overthrow the government. Then somebody's got to run it. And it's like, all right, so who's going to work the airport? What do you mean? I don't want to work the airport. Like, there's not one person associated with that revolution that's like, yo, and once I get this, I'm
going to be TSA.
Yeah, school lunches, I'll be in charge of that. No. Yeah, all right, so we did this for you. Now you can overthrow the government. There's a whole lot of cats that was like, hey, man, we ain't like him, but we wasn't trying to, like, do his job. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a reason why we didn't do this ourselves. And this is an awful man, just to be clear.
Yeah, not a fan.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, we killed your leader so that you could take over. I mean, thanks.
All right. Speaking of headlines that don't sound real, the Atlanta Hawks will host a Magic City Monday. Lemon Pepper Wings will be on the menu. T.I. is going to perform. This will happen in the next few weeks. Of course, Magic City, famous Atlanta strip club. Bo, what was your reaction when you heard this news?
Okay, so number one, maybe I'm just becoming a bit more prudish in my old age, but we don't need to mainstream the strip club that far. We know where it's at. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't need to, I don't know. But number two, I heard you say that they was going to have wings. I heard you say that T.I. was going to perform. You know what I didn't hear you say? Anything about dancers. Everything I've heard about Magic City night at State Farm Arena has sounded like the city, but I ain't heard shit about no magic. The wings ain't that good. They ain't like, oh, I go to Magic City just for the wings. Lying ass. If you do, you're doing it really wrong. Okay? But if it's Magic City night and all it is wings and T.I., I would stay at home. Or maybe I'd go to Magic City where they will have wings and they won't have T.I., but they'll have something I like a lot more in 2026.
All right. And finally, Fox Sports debuted a new feature on its app where there is an AI Colin Cowherd. You can, ask him anything, get his opinions, get his takes. I asked AI Colin Cowherd, should Bomani Jones get his own AI app? This is what it said. Bomani Jones deserves his own AI app because he's a trailblazer in sports media, consistently pushing boundaries with his unfiltered opinions and sharp analysis. His commentary on athletes like Deion Sanders and controversies surrounding Serena Williams has shown he's not afraid to tackle tough topics. Jones has also been vocal about the state of sports media, criticizing the, quote, stick to sports crowd and highlighting the influence of athletes in media. Jones has expressed frustration with sports media personalities, including AI-generated takes to boost engagement. calling them, quote, fucking dorks. He believes that relying on AI undermines the value of original thought and authenticity in sports commentary. This stance demonstrates his commitment to maintaining high standards in sports media. Creating an AI app inspired by Jones could revolutionize how his fans consume sports analysis. It would offer a unique blend of his insightful commentary and sharp wit, potentially changing the sports media landscape. Bo, does this sound like you?
Yeah, it would revolutionize how my fans get their sports content by cutting me out. Like, hey man, that Colin, that's a shrewd man. That's a man who his paper is right. I can't believe he agreed to this. Hey, why don't you make it a little easier to replace me next go round? Hell no, I ain't, no. This is fucking ridiculous. I can't believe, no, not in any way whatsoever do I want any parts of this. And as we have talked about before, when it comes to AI versions of me, remember when we did that one day, Ryan?
I do remember that one day.
It was really racist, guys. Like, not offensively racist, but it wasn't like flattering racist. I don't know if, okay, there is a sort of flattering racist, but I don't want to talk about that right now with my mama there.
All right, Bo, got some voicemails, a lot of good ones. Here's the first.
How you doing, Bo? This is Jay from Boston, and I had a question for you about the NBA. Pat Riley, at his recent Hall of Fame speech, made it clear that he wanted NBA coaches on the sidelines to go back to wearing suits. While I, grew up in the era where Iverson was obviously demonized for the way he dressed, and David Stern enacted, a much tougher dress code that, sort of morphed into, the sideline turned into runway that we kind of have going on now. I appreciate, the freedom of coaches wearing what they want, but as a longtime fan, I can't deny that suits on the sideline bring an air of, seriousness or gravity that, on many levels, we all know the game, especially in the regular season, is lacking. Doc Rivers had come up with a bit of a compromise when asked about it by The Athletic, and he said that maybe coaches should, wear what they want to wear during the regular season, but shift to suits for the playoffs to show, the seriousness of, playoff series. I think that's also, potentially a decent compromise, but I did want to hear your thoughts about coaches going back to wearing suits on the sidelines. Longtime fan of the show. Love what you're doing. Have a great day.
I am 100% in agreement with Pat Riley on this because it's part of the show.
Yeah, it's good for the TV show.
Yeah, I say it's also, look, let's stop acting like we don't understand how things work, right? The suit, as you put, it is a signal of seriousness, right? Like, you're the guy in the suit. Why should anybody listen to you? You out here wearing a pullover. You understand what I'm saying?
I have to say, this is a little bit of a, Pat Riley, who clearly looks better than most people in a suit.
Yeah. But
he's
that's
like, everyone should wear suits.
But these cats ain't talking this because they don't look good in suits. They talking this because they lazy and they just want to throw the pullover on. No, man, it's a part of the show. Now, I think the suit thing was actually better when the coaches were a little worse dressed, right? Like, I'll never forget. I don't know, Doug Moe died recently, right? He rest in peace. I don't think you'd have no reason to remember when Doug Moe was the coach of the Nuggets. But I remember when Dan Issel became the coach of the Nuggets. He played for Moe with the Nuggets, and he went to college at Kentucky and played under Adolph Rupp. And just to give you an idea of what kind of man Doug Moe was, Issel said in his first game, as a tribute to Adolph Rupp, I'm going to wear a brown suit. As a tribute to Doug Moe, I'm going to wear black shoes. Because Doug Moe shit was always super sloppy all over the place. But there's something to be said for, like, being the coach that can't get it right. Like, this is, I don't know, the everybody looks the same, and the significance of coaching has dwindled in so many ways, right? Like, the idea that the coach matters in basketball has fallen off. In baseball, it's the same way, right? And I don't think that's good for the product. actually. I think that they are part of the show. They are part of the tapestry, the mosaic, and all of these things. And dressing like this game matters or like you're an important person in this, I think those things matter, right? I think those things go somewhere. And it was a thing that came around during the pandemic, and it made sense during the pandemic. Okay. But y'all don't work from home. So, like, come on, man. Of course, I show up here with wrinkled sweatshirts on every week, but that's a part of this show. That show is different.
All right, here's our next one.
Well, what up, Bo? This Shaq from OP. And, bro, I've been listening to you for a long time, over 10 years. I appreciate everything that you say and do and everything. And from a lot of listeners, they probably don't know what OP stand for. I'm from Opelousas. And I know you and Ryan, well, your pops is from Odell, Ryan from Lafayette. And I think we all got to a point in our lives when we can't go back all-stars, all of us. My question for you, Bo, is who are the new age can't go back all-stars? Because we got the old school can't go backs. Now, who are these youngsters now for the can't go backs? All right, Bo, appreciate you. Later.
All right, we ain't got as many as we used to, Ryan. This is becoming, but all right, well, Anthony Edwards, we absolutely know.
Yeah.
He is on that list. As I recall, Jonathan Kuminga moved himself from the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Yeah.
I did not know this.
Yeah. He ain't going back. I tell you that right now. Who else?
Does Giannis count?
Yes. The man who wasn't even a citizen.
Yeah.
They wouldn't even give him a passport. Yeah, I would. The man who, by the way, they say still like come pick up leftover food.
Yeah.
Yeah. And put it like this. He believes that he can't go back.
That's all that matters.
That certainly would put him on the list. I tell you this, I looked at Bones Highland. He was about to punch Valanciunas in the face on Saturday. He looked like he in that boat.
For sure. All right, here's our next one.
Hey, what's up, Bo? This is John calling from Charlotte. And I just got a question, man. Where did we lose with R&B? Like why isn't R&B popping like it used to? And I'm asking because I recently bought my pop's vinyl records, and I know he's a big Jodeci fan, and I've been jamming out to them, man. They got some good stuff. I just want to know, like, where did we lose the recipe when it came to R&B? Appreciate it.
I don't even. The thing that's gotten me is that if you're a certain age, and I feel like if you were asking that question, you're probably of this age, you don't know anything about like contemporary R&B that doesn't sound like rap or like doesn't come with a rap verse or have the imaging of such. And it really was just one of those things where you just looked up and it happened. Like you go, see, the problem is stuff that don't seem like that long ago is, but I'm like, man, if you think about 2006, okay, that was 20 years.
20 years ago.
Right. But like, if you go to that point, or the end of the aughts, I mean, there's still R&B out there, like, played on the same stations with the rap, played alongside of it that is clearly not rap, right? Does not necessarily have that influence. You just looked up one day and it was out of here. But what's wild about it is the people that sell a zillion, not all, like all of them, obviously, but like Adele is singing a form of R&B music and she still makes zillions of dollars doing that. Bruno Mars was making zillions of dollars doing that. Anderson .Paak's my favorite, and he has his own lane along there, but it's out there, and the people who do it are hugely successful. So sometimes I feel like it's a misplaced question, but I know exactly why you're asking the question, and I don't ever have a great answer for how it is that it, got to that place. But, like I do wonder this, right? Like at talent shows, the kids get up and sing at talent shows anymore because singing don't seem to be like what the game is.
Yeah, I wonder if we're just almost too cynical.
Yeah.
Almost not sincere enough for that sort of music.
Yeah, but I think the problem for
I think
me
the counter to that is, again, Adele makes zillions of dollars.
Yeah. But the problem for me is I don't listen to radio because I'm never in a car.
Same.
So I can't say with any accuracy myself how these things are curated to say that there is no more blank. Because every now and then somebody will hit me up with somebody that, like, it'll feel to me more like music for somebody my age than for somebody young. So I don't. Damn, I'm so old that I don't even know if I'm even allowed to talk about this no more. Ain't that something?
All right, here's our last one.
Hey, Bo and Ryan, this is Matt from New Orleans. I knew a white man who I knew as Dan for 8 years, and I got his wedding invitation, and it turns out his name was Denarius. Keep up the good work.
I think that's the same face Matt made as well.
He hung up that phone like Larry Bird at the 3-point contest. Dragonfly Jones said that once on Twitter about somebody. I think he said when that dude hit Roland Martin with both of these nuts back in the day. That is my image forever when somebody knows it's going in, right? Yeah. He dropped that one. He was like, he knew when he hung up that he was going to be on the show.
For sure.
He is stuck around the whole time to get to this point. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for joining us here on The Right Time. We do this 4 days a week. Ryan Brumley handles everything behind the scenes. Thank you, sir. Remember, hit the voicemail line, 323-596-7767. Follow The Right Time. Subscribe, like, rate us, review us, give us 5 stars. You only give us 4 stars. I'm inclined to believe you are a hater. We'll talk to you guys in a couple of days. Take it easy.